everybody. We're on our test review, and I'm so glad to be using Freeform now because Freeform works so great. All right. So I can zoom in. I can use other tools. Here we go. Now, before we start, I'm just going to tell you that the reason why this is 10 pages, as you can kind of see up there, is because there was a new version of the test review that'll be a little different and more similar to the test. So we're going to go through the one that you have that I gave you, and then we're going to go see what's different in the newer version of the practice test. Here we go. Now we're going to do the vertical line test. Vertical line test is our friend. So I'm going to go through using the vertical line here and see if it crosses more than once. Did it? You know what? I'm going to use a different color crayon here. And a much thinner crayon. Yes. So here, I'm going through. Did it cross more than once? Yes, I think it did. And that is our vertical line test. Let's try it again here. Hey, it crossed more than once again. If it crosses more than once, then it fails the vertical line test and it is not a function. So they want us to circle the letter that are not functions. Okay, I can do that with my big crayon. I don't want to use red though. Meow. Okay, so that's good. That one is not a function. Now, I wish I could drag... Wait, do I have a ruler? Ooh, I could use this. Yay. So I'm going to drag this ruler across. Let's look at the left side, right? Let's look at the left side. And I'm going to drag it and see if there's any point where this line... Remember, we're only using this line. We're not paying attention to the rest of the graph stuff. We're only using that line. This crayon is kind of a mess, huh? Let's just make tiny little arrows because we don't want that to confuse us, do we? Let me get a real skinny crayon here for the edges. Okay. All right, so we're going to move our ruler here and see if there's any place where it crosses twice. Well, there isn't. So it passes our vertical line test. For instance, here. Did it cross more than once? It crosses there. Only once. So it passes... Hey, wait a second. I wanted to use red. So it passes our vertical line test. It only crosses once. I know I like this crayon, but it's so thick. Ay, 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 ay. All right, let's go back to our smaller X here. There we go. Anyway, it only crosses once. And that's going to happen anywhere we use a vertical line. So this one is a function. I'm not going to circle it. Let's go to the next one. Okay. All right, we're looking in here, and this is where it's not good. We failed the vertical line. Oh, we need the skinny one. Skinny. There we go. So there's a line, there's a dot there, and there's a dot there. And it fails the vertical line test. So does this. So that is not a function. I'm going to circle it. Two of them are not functions. All right, got to read directions carefully. Okay, what about this one? Well, if I move my ruler along it, well, it only hits one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. It only hits once the whole time. So I can draw a couple lines if I want, just to show you. For instance, if we had a line here, does it cross more than once? It only crosses at one spot right there. So that's okay. What if I do a line here? Well, that also only hits in one spot. So any vertical line in this, I don't want to change that. I just want to change the color. Any vertical line on this particular graph does not hit twice. So 2 of these were functions and 2 of them were not. That was really fun. Thank you, Ruler. Okay, is this order pairs of function y or y not? All right, so we're going to look at the x's. And I told you all over and over again, the easiest way to do this is graph it. All right, but some of you found a shortcut when you were doing Excel that if you have multiple x's and different y's, then it's not a function. And I'm going to graph it just to make sure you can see why it's not a function. So I'm going to make my own little, should I use a ruler? You know what? I am going to use a ruler to make it look better. So meow. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. I love that ruler tool. Freeform, which you get free with Microsoft with the iPad. It's really nice. All right. So this is my little graph. It's not going to be exact, but that's okay. It'll work for us. Okay, so I'd only need to go from -5 to 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we only had to go, and we have to go up or down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. It's not perfect, but that's okay. -5, comma 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comma 2. All right, that's our -5, comma 2. 3, comma 7 is right. Oops, I need to go a little higher. Don't use Siri. All right, and then 3, comma 2. Now you can see right away, this is going to mess up our vertical line test. Again, you may have been able to just see this because you saw the 3's repeating. However, like I told you before, the best way to really make sure you see it is to graph it. So if we graph it, we see what, I'm not going to make a line on that. We see that this fails the vertical line test. It hits it in 2 places. Okay, so it's not a function. We know that, so it's not going to be either of these choices. Not a function because the y values are not all different. No, it's not a function because the x values are repeating. Not all different is the same thing as that they are repeating. All right, that was on the quiz too. Same question. Mario teaches piano lessons and charges $20 per hour for lessons plus $15 one-time fee when they first start. So this is called our initial value, the one we start with. Initial value. Whoopsies, pushed a button. Oh no, that's no good. Okay, I'm back. Yay! But I'm actually going to use a better pen for that. There we go. So 15, we're going to do that one time. So that's our initial value, which is also called our y-intercept. So I haven't read all of the problem yet, but I'm going to want to write an equation. And I know that depending on the number of hours, that's going to be our slope. That's our variable guy. So y equals $20 per h. But we could do dollars for y if we really wanted to. That's okay. It doesn't really matter. You could use y. You could use d for dollars. Doesn't matter. And then our initial value is 15. We started off with $15 and then every hour $20. Okay, we didn't practice that much, but I want you to watch the video now. Okay, complete the table, then write an equation. Okay, I already wrote the equation. Yay! Y for any number of hours of lessons x. Okay. If I teach 0 less hours of lessons, the person still has to pay for that book. 15. Now, I can show you the math, right? 20 times 0 plus 15. That means this is 0 plus 15. Okay, what about 1? Well, that means it's 20 times 1 plus 15. So 20 bucks plus 15 bucks is 35 bucks. Man, this is so much better than writing on iExcel. I tell you. 20 and 2. So now we've got 40 bucks for the hourly charge plus the 15 for the first book charge. So you see how that initial value actually makes sense? It makes sense because 2 hours, 40 bucks plus that initial one. Initial value. Okay. 55. Now think about that. If you weren't sure why this $15 made sense at the end of the equation, because that's not very intuitive. So it's really a good idea to think about it. Why did I call this the initial value? Well, you can see how it actually works in real life. The initial value is because they started having to pay that all the time. Some problems you're going to have, it's going to be a little different. It's going to be like a cab charges you $15 to start and then $20 every minute. So, or you started your bank account with $15 and then it's going to be negative every time you buy something. All right. So let's see. Let's move on to the last one. Don't have that much room. I'll do it over here. D equals, what was it? 20H plus 15. 20, and we're finding 3 right now, plus 15. 60 plus 15, 75. Okay, there we go. I hope you can read that. Let me actually write that a little neater. 35, 55, 75. 35, 55, 75. Yay! I might even want to do that too. I just didn't think I could remember them all. Hey, that looks better. Alrighty. And again, I had already written the equation here. So let's zoom in and do that. Actually, you know what? Make it a little bigger there. D equals 20H plus 15. Now, you could have, again, also done Y equals 20X. It really doesn't matter. I certainly would not mark it wrong. Okay. It'd actually be a good idea to define our variables, but I didn't see that in these problems. All right. The amount of money Carlos saves in dollars is represented by the function do. Now that's really weird. They put the initial value in front. I don't like that at all. I'm going to rewrite that right now because that's not what we're used to. Our initial values should go at the end because we're used to seeing slope-intercept. That's going to confuse me. Okay, much better. Ugh. Now, it's good to have problems that make us think, but I don't want to be confused, so I'm going to just rewrite it. And if you see something like that on the test and you think, I wonder if I should rewrite it, you should. You should rewrite it into the form that you're used to. All right, cool. Now, fill in the blanks with the number value and what it represents based on the description. Aha. Okay, so the rate of change is 35 bucks per week. Initial value is $3.75. But see, again, I think it's kind of confusing that they didn't have it in the right order. Oh, well. Well, we still got it done. Cancel. Okay, now we're going back to the first page with the new version of the test. Let's see if anything was changed. First two problems are the same. This problem's different. This problem's the same. Okay, so 3-4. Let's do that one. Maria mows lawns and charges $20 per hour. All right. equation bonk, bonk, bonk represents how much money. That's correct. So she doesn't have a beginning charge. So it's plus 0. Determine how much more Mr. Carter will pay than Mr. Wilson. Okay, well, Mr. Wilson, it's just a matter of time. 3 hours versus 4.5 hours. Hey, that's not bad. Okay, so 20 times each of them. Well, 20 times 3 is 60. This problem isn't as hard as it looks. 20 times 4.5. And that means 90. All right. So, am I right? Yes, I am. Okay, I think I might. I didn't mess up that math. Better not have. What's going on YouTube? Carter will pay blank more. Okay. Well, how much more? So we subtract. $30 more. Let me write that in green since we're getting a little close with all our writing. Okay, we already did the other problem. If you have any questions, by the way, you can email me. I'm going to keep an eye on my emails all break. Okay, complete the function table. Use your calculator, I guess. I'm going to do it without a calculator. I want to change colors, though. Let's change colors. Y equals 3x minus 8. So we're going to take x, substitute it in here. I'm going to put a little highlight. Oops, that didn't work. There we go. I'm going to highlight that, put it inside where that x is. Oops, sorry, that's not negative. 3 now times negative 2. Y equals, hey, be careful, negative times a positive. So negative 6, negative 8. Negative 14. Oh, I'm sorry. I better write this out. Bad guy score 6, bad guy score 8. I actually would rather not use a calculator for this because I've got too many negatives to deal with. And calculators are really not so great with negatives. I'm better than the calculators at negatives, and hopefully you are too. Y equals, now this time it's 3 times 0. Those are always the easiest because they make 0. So answer is negative 8. All right, let's do... Okay, so I was just on a phone call, interrupted by a phone call, so I'm a little bit out of sorts here in the middle of this problem. But I know how to do it. Okay, here we go. So y equals, we're completing this table with 1. How come the undo is gone? That's really strange. All right, well, undo is gone. Thanks a lot. Y equals 3 times the x is up here, right? So I'm going to repeat. Oh, there's no undo. Oh, my goodness. Okay. 3 times 1 minus 8. 3 minus 8. Be careful of your negatives. Bad guys score 8. Good guys score 3. That means that bad guys win by 5. You always have to be careful of your negatives. Always, 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 if you see negatives. Okay, and I think that's really strange that whoever wrote this test said use your calculator. Why would they say use your calculator when you should use your brain and pen and pencil? Pencil, I should say. Okay, y equals negative 3 halves times, well, we're going to use negative 2 first. Oh, undo, I got undo back, yay! Thank you, Apple. Okay, don't forget, now this is a negative times a negative. Be very careful with your negatives. Y equals 3 halves times 2. Well, I could do that in my head because I'm a math teacher, but I'm going to, let me make this smaller. Okay. 3 halves times 2 over 1 equals 6 over 2 is equal to 3, or you could even reduce that. All right, I know I went through that quickly, but we're not working on fractions right now. But on a YouTube video, you can always rewind it and look at it closely. So the answer is positive 3 plus 5. Hey, 3 plus 5 is 8. Okay, 8. 0. 0 is always the easiest one, like I said, because 0 times that gets rid of that. 0 times 3 halves is 0. So it's just 5. It's the y-intercept. And actually, if we graph 0, 5, it will look like the y-intercept also. Funny how math fits together like that, the y-intercept when x is 0. Okay, I'm having way too much fun. Y equals negative 3 halves, and this time we're going to use 2. Now that's the same fraction, so we know it's equal to 3, but it's positive this time. So a negative times a positive makes a negative. So negative 2, I forgot to finish the plus 5. Don't forget to be careful with your negatives. 5 bad guys, 2 good guys. Whoopsie daisy, I did that backwards. My mistake. 2 bad guys, 5 good guys. I'm really tired, actually. Equals positive 3. Bong, bong. Okay. Oh, Mr. Pass. There it is. Okay. Determine if the table represents a linear or non-linear function. Okay, now this is something we have not covered yet, but I'm going to do it. You can do it mathematically or you can do it graphically. I'd really rather do it graphically, but the problem is my graph isn't going to be exact. The way to do it algebraically is to find the slope there and the slope there and see if they're the same. If they're the same, then it is. But I'm going to do it graphically. Okay, let's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to use bigger. It matters that we're being accurate here. So let's try to 1, 2, 3. Okay, try that. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1 comma 0. Meow. 2 comma 2. Meow. And 3 comma 5. You know what? That doesn't look quite right. That doesn't look quite right. It looks like if we do a line here, it's not going to pass through this one. And the reason that is because the slopes are different. So, you know what? Let's do it algebraically, because the person who made this test made it close enough that I don't have an official graph, and when I'm drawing it by hand, it's not as good. So I am going to find both slopes. Kind of a lot of work, but that's okay. We can handle it. I'll go quickly. 1 comma 0. Ooh, that's a terrible 0. So much for going quickly. Okay, 1 comma 0, 2 comma 2. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Now notice, even though I'm going quickly, I'm still showing my work. I'm still showing my work. Why? Because I want you to see it, and it's better to show your work. 2 minus 0. You're not as likely to make a mistake. 2 minus 1. 2 over 1. All right, so the slope for this one is 2 for those 2 points. Now I need to do the other 2 points, and I have a feeling it's going to be different. 2 comma 2 here, and then 3 comma 5. Actually, let me write it over here. 2 comma 2, 3 comma 5, x1, y1, x2, y2. Now we're going to use the same formula, so I don't need to rewrite that. 5 minus 2 over 3 minus 2 equals 3 over 1. Yep, I told you the slopes are different, but it was close. So since I didn't have an actual graph, it was hard to tell. So this is non-linear, different slopes. Let me use a crayon because it would be so much more fun. Meow. Man, these crayons are so great. Thank you, Apple. All right. How about this one? I wonder if this one is close. Well, you know what? We'd better, since they're making these close, let's do all of the work. 1, 0, 2, 2, x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, change in y over change in x. So the x's is 2 minus 0. The y is 2 minus 1. Okay, slope is 2. Is this the same 2 points? I thought it looked familiar. Okay, the slope from those is 2. Now we're going to do the slope from the other one. Change colors. Okay. 2, 2, 3, 4. x1, y1, x2, y2. All right. 4 minus 2 is in the numerator, and 3 minus 2 is in the denominator. That's what I thought was going to happen. Okay. The slope is the same. It is linear. Oh. I love using crayons. Circle the letter under all the graphs that are linear. Now, linear, when you look at a graph, means it's one line. Now, even though those are straight, it's not one line, so that's not linear. This is linear. That is not linear. This is linear. So, I mean, we can tell that this is a curve. That's pretty obvious. But this one also is not one, even though it's made of straight lines, it's not one straight line. Okay? Now let's look at the other version of the test. So we've got those guys. We already did that. These guys, we already did that. And these guys, we already did that. So it looks like on the new version of the test, they took this out. Still good. We should know how. Wait. No, I'm not. No, I'm wrong. Was this exactly the same page? I'm so sorry. Yes, this was exactly the same page. Okay, moving on. For each function below, circle the letter under all the equations for linear. All right, this is linear. Slope-intercept, we've seen it 1,000 times. If you see something squared, again, we haven't gone over this yet. We're going to go over it Monday. Squared means not linear. Square root, not linear. This is what we've seen before with zero intercept. Like if this was slope-intercept form, it would say plus 0. And we've seen that many times before, and we've graphed it. Back to the crayon. 4 divided by x. Now, when you graph this, it looks crazy. We could make some points, but trust me, that is not linear. Okay, graph shows the amount of money left in Billy's account after purchasing video games. Okay, he started with $120, and then he started spending money. And I'm not going to look at the questions yet. I'm just going to try to figure out what I can from the graph. So I see that after he purchased... Oh, I need to make that thinner. Okay. That after he purchased 1, how much did it go down? It looks like it went down by $20. Okay, then he bought 2. Did it go down another $20? Yep. Then he bought 3. It went down another $20. Okay, so it looks like it's going down $20 at a time. I'm just trying to figure out information before I look at the questions. What is the cost of the game? See, that's exactly what they were asking. $20. Now, we could see it by reading it. However, we could also show all of the algebra, which I don't think is really necessary. I think we could all just read the chart. However, the graph, excuse me. But we might as well do it to show all of our algebra. I am a math teacher. So I should probably do all that. 0, comma 120 is that point. And this is 2, comma 80. All right, so let's find the rate of change, which is the same as the unit rate. So I'm going to write it out here. Again, even though I'm doing this quickly, I'm still showing my WORK. It's good to show your work in math. Change in Y over change in X. 80 minus 120. Ooh, that's going to be negative, isn't it? And then 2 minus 0. All right. So like I said, we need to be careful of our negatives because we've got a negative 120 there. 80. Good job, Mr. Pass. 80. How did I not write an 80 there? My mistake. Sorry. Okay, so bad guys win by 40. And divided by 2, negative 20. So the slope is negative 20. But we know this is real life here. His money went down, but that means that the games cost a positive amount. I know that's a little confusing, but you know that each game is not going to cost negative. That doesn't make sense. His account goes negative, but they're not asking him about his account. They're asking him about how much he has to spend on each game. So the reason I'm explaining that is we do not want to put a negative there. We want to know how much does each game cost. And this showing his bank account going down shows he spent that much. What is the initial amount in his account? Well, that's what I saw at the very beginning, 120. Crayon, yay, crayon. Okay. Melissa received a $50 gift card for her birthday to Starbucks. Every day she goes there, complete the table, Okay. So her initial amount was 50. And then each day, $3. So I'm going to write it with Y and X first. Let me use a regular pen here. Y is equal to $3 times however many she buys. Well, that's 50. That's our equation. Now you could say, let's see. I'm thinking of which variable. Well, it says use Y for any number of days and X. Total amount remaining Y. So they told us to use Y and X. Now, it wouldn't be terrible if you tried to solve the problem with variables that made more sense to you and then wrote the equation this way, because that's what they requested. Not a terrible idea. So I'll show you that in case you wanted to do it. So total amount remaining, so that's how much money she has. So I'm going to say dollars, D for dollars, and 3 times how many days, but each day she gets 1 coffee. So, I mean, I would say 3C for coffee. You could say, oh, the problem is dollars and days, huh? Yeah, you don't want to use D for days. Anyway, okay, so what are we doing? Well, you could use D, C, or Y and X, but I'm just going to go with this since that's what the problem asked for now. Okay, Y equals 3 times 0. That's the easiest one because that becomes 0. Oh, think about it. She started with $50. After 0 days, she still has $50. All right. Y equals 3 times 1 day. Oh, hold on a second. Oh. This needed to be -3, or it's not going to make sense. Yeah, because we're taking away $3 from her amount. Okay. Careful. My initial equation was off a little bit. I can't say I worked all day since very early, and now I'm writing this later at night. So that's my excuse. -6 plus 50, which makes sense. Now she spent $6 with 2 days. Okay, $44. And you know what? I'm just gonna subtract 3 because, oh well. Y equals, but that would have been wrong without the negative. So be careful. Okay, let's check the other version of the test. We already did that. We did not do 13. We did not do 14. All right, so let's do them right now. Find the slope. Okay. Slope, well, this is kind of easy, going down 1. However, it's not 1. So, wow, you really got to be careful on these. We counted 1, but that was 4. 16 to 12, right? 16 minus 12 is 4. Okay, so let's see. So down 4, I'm going to write -4. And then to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, is this moving by 1s? Yes. -4 over 5. What's the most common mistake here? Everybody is thinking this counts for 1, but they were kind of being sneaky there. Okay, find the slope. 0, 14. Now we only have to do this once because since they told us that this is a function and they said find the slope, there's got to be only one slope. It's not going to be x squared, which would have different slopes. And then we'd have to do some calculus. Yay, calculus. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 48 minus 14. Do I have room? I do not. 2 minus 0. Okay, 48 minus 14 is 34. And 2 minus 0 is 2. The slope is up. Excuse me. I know that's 17. I'm just sleepy. Okay. Slope is 17. Family Fun Park has a yearly pass. They sell for $75 plus 27. So our initial amount, the one that we start with, is that, and that's per visit. So rate of change is $27 for a visit. Find the initial y-intercept. Well, there it is. Easy cheesy. I'm going to use a crayon since I got so much room. Hooray for crayons. Yay. So I'm being a little even more silly than normal because I'm sleepy. But also because I enjoy doing math. Okay. This is a new page, I believe. Or is this repeating? Well, 12, 13. Yeah, this is a new page. Aiden is saving up to buy a new bike and decides to put away a little money every month. His savings totals for each month are below. Okay, what is the initial value or beginning? Well, they didn't tell us what month 1 was, unfortunately. So we are going to have to figure it out. And this goes by 2s, huh? Well, I am not going to take a chance. I was trying to use my brain here just to figure it out by looking at it. But I think it's a better idea to do all of the arithmetic. Because I don't want to get the wrong answer. Okay, x1, y1, x2, y2. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 65 minus 55. Sorry if my writing's getting a little sloppier. I am sleepy. 4 minus 2. Okay, 10 over 2. There you go. So that's 5. Slope is 5. All right, now we need to find the y-intercept, which is the beginning balance. Y equals 5x, but we don't know what b is yet. So we're going to use any one of these points. Might as well use the first two. That's what a math person would do because they'd say, hey, the numbers are lower. Why not just use that one? So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, excuse me. So instead of y, I'm going to use 55. So for y here, 55. Okay, let me make those 5s look similar. 5 times 2 plus b. 55 equals 10 plus b. 45 equals b. All right, so we started off with 45 bucks. So I could have done that in my head, but I didn't want to be wrong. And of course, as a math teacher, I should show you all of the steps. Because if the numbers are harder, like for instance, if it said, $55.91 and $65.23, or even thousands of dollars and cents, then you could not do it in your head. So those are the steps. No matter how complicated the numbers are, you'll be able to calculate your answer. What is the rate of change? Well, we found that. It was $5 a month. Okay. But again, if you see the numbers are small in here, and you're not as tired as me, then you probably could have figured this out without all those steps. You could have said, hey, wait a second, that's $5 a month. He started with 45 bucks. Okay. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. I would not mark you off for not showing all of that work. Sophia is planning to go on a trip to Hawaii, and wants to go on a hiking tour. She is comparing the 3 companies. Each company charges initial fee. And initial fee is, of course, our y-intercept, right? It's our, what's the other words I want to use except for initial value, of course. I knew it was started with initial fee, initial value. And then additional fee. Okay, fill the information below to help her make her decision. She wants to know which is the cheapest. Okay, so here's one company, here's another company, and here's another company. So, which one? Well, the interesting thing is it depends on how many hours. They're probably going to be different. So before I answer anything, I know I'm going to have to find the slope here and the slope here. Well, yeah, before I look at this question, specific questions, I'm going to make sure I find the slope. Let me write it up here. There's not much room. Whoa, that was scary. Okay. 1, 12, 2, 24, x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm still going to show all my work. Okay, 24 minus 12 over 2 minus 1. 12 over 1. Okay, the slope is 12. And what is the initial value? 0, actually, because they're charging 12 bucks for every hour. So for 0, it's 0. Their initial value, their y-intercept, is 0. All right, let's see here. How about this one? Well, we don't have much room to do the math, but I'm going to make room anyway. 350 and 130. Don't forget, I'm going to make my x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, I don't want to skip steps. Now, I already have the formula here, but I'll rewrite it it's a little sloppy. Okay, y2 minus y1. 30 minus 50 over 1 minus 3. Negative 20 over negative 2. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Sorry, I went a little fast there and didn't do my good guys, bad guys. Bad guys win by 20. That was that. And then 3 bad guys, 1 good guy. Bad guys win by 2. That's that guy. Just to make sure. And 2 negatives. I'm going to try to make my little more smiley. 2 negatives make a positive. So the answer is positive 10. Okay, slope is 10. We can see that the initial value is 20. Sometimes you can see it just from the graph. And our slope, our rate of change, is 10. All right, now we can compare all the slopes. 9, let me use a highlighter. 9, 12, and 10. Easy to compare the slopes. Initial values. 25, 0, and 20. All right, I think we're now ready. They're going to ask us to compare stuff. I think. I haven't read this question yet, but that's what I would expect. What is the rate of change for hidden treasures? Well, that's the first one. 9. What is the initial fee or cost to reserve the tour? 25. Initial fee is the y-intercept. What is the rate of change or price per hour for road? Okay, we found that was 12 over 1. What is the initial fee? 0. What is the rate of change? For that one, we did the slope, 10. And what is the initial fee? $20, because we found our y-intercept right there. Okay, so we did all that work, and now we actually needed it for the answers. Which company has the greatest cost per hour? So cost per hour is here, is the number that's the slope. Slope and slope. Which one has the greatest cost per hour? 12, so that's road less traveled. All right, highlighter, yay. Which company has the greatest reservation fee? Well, obviously not them, because they're 0. $25 and $20. So it's Hidden Tree. Ta-da! Hidden Treasure, excuse me. Okay, let's see if the other page was the same. It's stuck. Okay. Come on. You can do it. There we go. No, we did not do that problem, did we? No, we did not. Well, let's do it now. This is the new version of the test. What is the y-intercept? Well, we can really see this is going down by 2, don't we? Down by 2, down by 2, down by 2. And these are all consistent. So another 2 is going to be 1. Now, I might as well show you all my work because I'm your math teacher. However, you could have done that without all of this stuff. But I'll show you the work. First, we're going to find the slope. x1, y1, x2, y2, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, 5 minus 3 over 2 minus 1, 2 over 1. Okay, slope's 2. I told you that. I told you so. Now we go to the equation. These are the problems that, if the numbers are complex or more difficult than you can't do it just by your eyes. So you have to do all of this work. Y equals 2x. We don't know what b is yet, so we're going to use one of those points. What do I mean by that? I mean we're going to take 1, substitute it for x, and we're going to take 3 and substitute it for y. Okay, y is 3, x is 1. 3 equals 2 plus b. Subtract 2 on both sides, and b equals to 1. See, I got the same answer. Now this is causing too much room here, so I'm going to erase it. What is the y-intercept here? Oh my goodness. They gave us the 0, 6, so we already know we don't have to do any math at all. Thank you. I'm going to use my crayon. It's 6. Y-intercept is 6. Why? Because 0, number, that's what the y-intercept is. So sometimes you get a freebie like this on a test. So you should look for it. Okay. Marley's making bracelets. He has 15 completed and can make 3 more per hour. So our initial value, I'm going to write an equation, whether we need it for the problem or not. 3 more every hour. Well, total number of bracelets might as well use B. 3 per hour plus 15 that he started with. Initial value, 15. Now we didn't need to do all that work now that I read the problem, but that's okay. I like to do put all the information I know down on the paper. And then when they ask the question, I'll be ready. That's my method. Write the equation for the table. Okay, well, we need to find our slope. Now I'm going to use these numbers because I don't have any negatives. It should be easier. All right, I'm writing my formula because I want to make sure I'm ready. Would I mark you down on the test because you didn't do that? Of course not. But I'm doing it. It helps me. It probably will help a lot of you too. 6 minus 3, 3 minus 2. 3 over 1. Okay, slope is 3. Now we don't know what the y... Oh, I take it back. We do know what the y-intercept is. The y-intercept is right there. 0, negative 3. So now I know everything I need for this equation. Y equals slope is 3. And the y-intercept is negative 3. Ta-da! And he has a savings account with a starting balance of $350. That's our initial value. Takes out 75, and that's going to be a negative number. Write the equation and calculate how much money. Okay, perfect. Y equals, he's going to remove 75 each week. Not make 75, plus 350 that he started out with. Okay. Write the equation for the graph. Okay. Well, they didn't give us nice, neat numbers, which is okay, because we know how to do that. We're going to find the slope. First thing I'm going to do is find the slope. Now, these two numbers up here don't have any negatives, so it'll make my life a little easier if I use those. 4833. Be careful with your negatives. 3 and negative 8. Bad guys win by 5. 3 and negative 4. Bad guys. So, a negative divided by a negative. Again, be careful with your negatives. Our answer is positive 5 for our slope. Okay, we've got the slope. Can we see the intercept? No. I need to make sure it's the right number, even though I could maybe guess. We're not going to guess. We're going to do the math. All right. So y equals 5. That's our slope. We don't know what b is yet. We're going to use one of these points. What do I mean by use one of these points? We're going to take the 4, put it in for x. We're going to use the 8, put it in for y. So 8 instead of y, 4 instead of x. Now, unfortunately, we're totally out of space there. So where can I write this? Phew, I'm just going to have to move it up here. That's too bad. 8 equals 20, which is 5 plus 4, times 4, excuse me. Subtract 20 on both sides. 12 equals b. Okay, I got it. Write the equation. Well, sorry everybody, but I'm going to have to delete this because when I used to use Microsoft OneNote, I could shrink it and move it over. I can't do that here. Even though I do like this program, this app, as they call them nowadays. I like the OneNote, that OneNote feature. Y equals, we know the slope is 5. And we know the intercept is 12 because we just found it. Does that look like it's about 12? Negative 12. Ooh, I missed my negative. Good thing I looked at that. Yeah, 8 and negative 20. Ooh, see, I wasn't careful with my negatives. Bad guys win by 12. Okay, so this is not plus 12. It's minus. It's minus 12. There we go. See, you gotta always write your good guys, bad guys, or it can get you. See, I just showed you. Bobby's renting a venue for his birthday party. The Cube charges $50 security deposit plus $35 per hour. The price for the entertainment place is shown on the table. 0, that means they charge $45 at the beginning before he starts. Write an equation to represent the total C in terms of time. C equals, well, what's the slope? It's $30 per hour. I like writing capital keys T so it doesn't look like a plus. Start out with 45. Write an equation to represent the total cost C in terms of time and hours T. These are exactly the same questions. Somebody made a typo there. Oh, I see what they wanted. They meant to do the cube first and then MB2. So actually, this answer here was for the table. But since I'm sleepy, so I believe what they meant to do was, instead of saying the cube there, they meant to say MB2. So let's pretend they did that, because the equation I wrote was not for the cube. The cube is 50 and 35. So let's write that out. 35 per hour plus 50. All right. So there was a typo on here. Be careful. There was a typo. If Bobby wants to rent the venue for 5 hours, how much more will it cost to have the party at the Cube? All right. Well, let's show the work. 5 hours. Well, we're going to put 5 for time and see how much more. We get to do math. Hooray. So the cube is 35 times 5 hours. I thought so. I just wanted to look and make sure. 35 times 5 is 175 equals 225. And then NB2, 30 times 5 plus 45. 30 times 5 is easier, 150 plus 45. 195. Okay, so we just subtract. How much more? 225 minus 195. Oops. 0, borrow, 30 bucks. All right, is the coordinate a solution? Okay, that means we take x, put it in here. We take y, and we put it in here. And we see if it makes a true statement. Well, let's find out. 7 is equal to 5 times 3 minus 3. We have to see if that's true. No, that's not true. So is that a solution to the equation? That is a perfect place for a crayon. You gotta admit. Okay. I didn't see the place to circle. I was zoomed in too far. Crayon time. All right, is this a solution now? Usually on tests, if one's no, the other one's going to be yes. But we don't care. That's not necessarily true. We have to find out. But I'm expecting it. 5 times x is 3 minus 3 times y is 4 should equal 3. Yes, it does. So that's a yes. Whoopsies. All right, compare the slope and y-intercept for each pair. Okay. Which is greater? Okay. Well, we can tell right away that the slope is 5 and the intercept is negative 3. Here, the intercept is negative 3, and the slope, we need to count it. 1, 2, 1. It's 2. 2 over 1. All right. The slope of A is greater than slope of B. Well, we're comparing 5 to 2. That's correct. This is correct. The slope of A is less. 5 is not less than 2. Okay, now we're comparing the slopes here. The slope of this one is 1. 1 times x. The slope of this one, we're going to need to find out. (13 minus 9). 8 minus 6. 4 over 2. 2. All right. Slope is 2. Slope is 1. So function A, slope is 1. Function B. Oh, actually, there's a little line there. Okay, the slope of A is greater. It is definitely not. Slope of A is less. 1 is less than 2. Okay, now we're going to be comparing the y-intercept. Y-intercept, haha, they gave it to us, is 5. And the y-intercept here is 4. Well, A 5, B 4. A is greater than B. Yes, because 5 is greater than 4. And it says compare. Mark the circle next to the correct statement. So there's only be one. Hey, that's the whole thing. Both versions. Hooray. All right. Have any questions? Please email me. I hope everybody's ready for that test. And then you can show me